The Public Utility Regulatory Authority held a press conference on Thursday to address concerns about radio stations operating with expired licenses. During a nationwide monitoring exercise in January and February 2024, Pura disclosed that 5 registered radio stations had ceased operations without prior notification to the authority, violating the Pura Act and the IC Act Section 235(1)(a). The stations in question are Dego FM, Paradise FM in Basse, Sky FM, Libidor FM, and Radio 1 FM. Pura stated that prior to the monitoring exercise, they issued a compliance notice on December 22, 2023, urging radio stations to renew their licenses. Despite this notice, the radio stations failed to comply, leading Pura to issue a notice of intention to revoke their licenses. The stations were required to submit written representation by July 10, 2024, explaining why their licenses should not be revoked. During the press conference, Emma Mendy, the Director of Licensing and Enforcement, revealed that some radio stations have since responded to their letter. However, several radio stations have yet to respond.
I am happy to report that following that, we had received actually a lot of applications which were treated accordingly. But like any other regulator, it will not be perfect. After that exercise, there were still some that did not comply. And unfortunately, we had to go ahead because just like the law also gives you a duty to comply with your license, we also have a duty that we have to perform on the act that govern us. And we report to the National Assembly and to our stakeholders. So we sent a notice of intention to revoke the license. It's important for us to state all of this because we are required to make sure we comply with every step in regulation that is stated. And it states that before a license is revoked, you have to serve the affected person a notice of intention to revoke the action that you intend to take and give them time to respond. This was sent on the 25th of June, and a time period of 2 weeks was given to respond to it. That is, for those that were served for the reasons of expired license, to submit an application for renewal and also give reasons, show cause why the authority shouldn't go ahead with its recommendation to revoke this license. We have received a lot of applications and representation as such following that letter. Some were also issued this notice because they have had the license for a number of years and they never rolled out, neither did they get any extension of time from the authority. Some got the license, they rolled out, but after some time, for one reason or the other, they have ceased operation and they didn't also inform the authority, which the law requires that you have to inform in the event of there being any force majeure event that prevents you from performing or operating the task to which you are issued a license. This is important because the deadline we gave was 10th of July. And I'm sure everyone is wondering what is going to happen after 10th of July. A regulator, we have to perform our task and our job according to the dictates of the law. Yesterday, I had a phone call where somebody asked me, so are we supposed to stop operation altogether because of the notice that we've sent? I had to inform him, no, you're not required to stop immediately because that wasn't a revocation of your license. We are working by what the law provides. It was a notice of our intention to revoke. Now that we've received a lot of applications and representations made, within the deadline, we are now going to go back and review these applications and representation made, and we are going to make a decision on them. Following that, those that haven't submitted anything or made any representation, I also want to inform you that we've also gotten the approval of the Minister of Information to revoke those licenses.
Legal Licensing and Enforcement Manager Mohamed Dur emphasized the importance of holding radio stations accountable for operating with valid licenses. He stressed that a valid license is mandatory before providing services in the regulated sector and that stakeholders must comply with regulatory requirements to maintain a vibrant broadcasting sector. He listed the number of radio stations that have yet to reply to their letter and emphasized that they will follow due process to revoke their licenses.
Number 1, Dego FM, Sky FM, Malagan Communication Network, City Limit Radio, Alfala Radio, Juntin, formerly Sahel, Nexus FM, Banjul FM, Capital FM, and Janekoto Radio FM. These were the list of radio stations as per the 10th of July, have not filed in any written representation, neither have they filed in any renewal application. This then will mean all the other radio stations licensed have applied, and then their application will be reviewed accordingly as mentioned, and a decision on their application will be made. Just so to speak to the statistic, 33 had expired license based on the revocation, based on the notice that the authority issued, and 5 had issues of ceasing to operate, meaning they were issued with license, they operated for a time, and they are no longer operational. 5. And 4 failed to roll out, meaning they were issued license and they have not done anything since the licensing were issued.
Pura reiterates its commitment of upholding licensing regulations and ensuring that radio stations operate in accordance with the law. The authority urged all radio station owners and operators to take their licensing obligations seriously and to ensure that their licenses are up to date to avoid any potential disruptions in their operations. The regulatory authority says it will continue to monitor and enforce licensing regulations to uphold standards in the broadcasting sector. Reporting for Kerfatu, I am Buba Gajigo.